My girlfriend told me I wasn't her priority, so I walked away. Now she pleads for another chance, and what I did next left her completely shattered. I'm 27, she's 25, and we met at my buddy's housewarming party. I'm usually the careful type, never the dude who jumps into relationships without thinking through. I've always been that guy who takes his time, weighs the pros and cons. But with Melissa, holy hell, she had this way of pulling me in that I couldn't resist. She wasn't even trying, that's what made it so deadly. She made me laugh like nobody else. She had this weird-ass sense of humor that just clicked with mine. She could make the most random Tuesday night feel like a holiday, and she was hot as hell too, which didn't hurt. The kind of girl that makes your friends text you, "Damn bro, how'd you land her?" after meeting her for the first time. So, because I was so damn into her, I went all in, like full throttle, no holding back. I always put her first. It didn't matter if I was working 12-hour shifts that week or had important things to handle. If she needed me, I dropped everything and was there. That promotion I was gunning for? Passed it up because she wanted me to go on this weekend trip with her and her friends. My best friend's bachelor party left early because she wasn't feeling well and wanted me to come over. I paid attention to all the little details about her too, her favorite food, how she liked her coffee, which movies made her cry. Anything with dogs. Which side of the bed she needed to sleep on, right side, always, with the fan on medium. I planned surprise dates, got her thoughtful gifts, not just on birthdays but on random Wednesdays, just to show I was thinking about her. She was the first thing I thought about. I basically built my entire life around her. My choices, my time, my future plans, everything had her at the center. I was even looking at engagement rings. Thinking she was the one for the longest time, I thought she was just as invested as me. That was the lie I kept telling myself. The cold truth? She never showed the same energy I poured into that stupid-ass relationship. She just enjoyed being mine and the attention. When we first started dating, things were awesome. We'd been together for about 2 years total before everything went to hell. She moved into my place about a year in, the house I actually own and pay the mortgage on myself. I covered everything. Mortgage, bills, groceries, even her damn car insurance and cell phone bill. I was even helping her with tuition payments. She was finishing her degree and working part-time at this coffee shop, so I figured I was investing in our future together. It's temporary, I told myself. Once she graduates and gets a real job, things will even out. Spoiler alert, they never did. In the beginning, it was seriously awesome. Melissa was funny, sweet, full of energy. We spent weekends exploring new places, binging shows like rabbits, just enjoying being together. But then things started changing, and I was too much of a dumbass to notice. It's crazy how you can miss so many red flags when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, like how she never once offered to pay for anything, even after her parents sent her money. Or how she'd talk about her house and her kitchen when I was the one paying for all of it. Or how she'd make these little comments about my friends being boring or my job being so corporate while happily spending the money from that corporate job. The worst part? She loved telling everyone what a great boyfriend I was. She'd post these long-ass captions on Instagram about how lucky she was, how I was the best boyfriend ever, with pictures of the gifts I got her or the trips I paid for. Her friends thought I was amazing. My friends thought she was amazing. Everyone thought we were this perfect couple. But behind closed doors, that's where the truth was, and I was too blind to see it. I kept making excuses for her. When she'd bail on plans with my family to hang with her friends, I'd tell myself she's just independent. When she'd spend hundreds on clothes but forget to chip in for groceries, I'd think she's still figuring out adulting. When she'd roll her eyes at things that were important to me, I'd convince myself we just have different interests. I was making excuses for her because I didn't want to face the truth that maybe, just maybe, I loved her way more than she loved me. And the thing is, it wasn't like she was some evil mastermind. She wasn't twirling her villain mustache plotting how to use me. She just took and I just gave, over and over and over again. It became our dynamic. She expected me to give everything, and I expected nothing in return. That's the messed up part about love sometimes. You can convince yourself that's what it's supposed to be like. But the signs weren't huge red flags smacking me in the face at first. Just little things I chose to ignore because I didn't want to face the reality that I was being played like a damn fiddle. At first, Melissa started getting more distant, not super obvious, just small things I brushed off. Like she'd stop waiting for me to eat dinner, even though I texted I was on my way home. Or how she'd be glued to her phone the entire time we were together, giggling at other people's messages while barely acknowledging anything I said. I'd be talking about my day and look up to see her eyes hadn't left her screen once. Then she started going out a lot more, like 3 to 4 times a week. She'd say she was hanging with the girls or had a study group, and I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, she's entitled to her own life, right? I'm not some controlling jerk. But it became a pattern real quick. Weekends, weeknights, random evenings. I'd get home from a 10-hour workday, looking forward to spending time with her, only to find an empty house and a half-assed text saying out with friends, don't wait up. When she did come home, she was either still on her phone or heading straight to bed, claiming she was so tired. No how was your day, no hugs, no love, nothing. The messed up part? I was still doing everything around the house too. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, paying every bill. Meanwhile, she's living rent-free, bill-free, doing whatever the hell she wants whenever she wants, and I just let it happen. I tried bringing it up once, stayed calm and everything. Told her I felt like we weren't connecting anymore, and she brushed it off with some crap like, I just need some me time. You're overthinking it. Overthinking? I was busting my ass for this relationship, working 50+ hours a week to support us. And somehow I was the problem for wanting to feel connected. But I didn't want to seem clingy or controlling, so I dropped it like a dumbass. It got worse from there. I'd wake up on Saturdays to find her already gone. She'd text hours later saying she was with the girls or some vague excuse. I stopped asking for details because every time I did, she'd get all defensive and act like I was interrogating her. Why don't you trust me? She'd snap, and I'd back off immediately. Classic manipulation, but I couldn't see it at the time, and she never went out of her way for me, not like I did for her. I'd plan these thoughtful dates and she'd say, that's sweet, but never return the favor. When I was dealing with stress at work, my boss was a complete jerk. She'd text, I'm here for you, but never actually show up. When my dad got sick and had to go to the hospital, she went to brunch with her friends instead of coming with me because hospitals freak me out. I remember this one time I spent almost a month planning her birthday, made reservations at this fancy restaurant she'd been dying to try, got tickets to her favorite band, even coordinated with her friends for this whole surprise thing. Cost me nearly $1,000 all in, but I thought it was worth it to see her happy. You know what she did for my birthday a month later? Bought me a $50 gift card from Amazon and spent half the night at dinner on her phone, texting her friends. When I looked disappointed, she had the nerve to ask, what? I got you a present. The way she said it, with that pouty face, like she deserved a standing ovation for remembering my birthday existed. Meanwhile, I'm standing there holding a gift card with the digital receipt still attached, showing she bought it that morning. Real thoughtful babe. The inequality in our relationship was insane looking back. If I was even 10 minutes late coming home when she wanted to go somewhere, she'd be pissed for hours. But she could disappear for an entire evening without warning, and I was supposed to be cool with it. If I wanted to hang with my boys on a Saturday, I had to clear it with her a week in advance. She'd make plans with her friends while we were literally in the middle of doing something else and just bounce. I started noticing other weird things too. How her girls' nights always seemed to involve a lot of guys in the pictures she'd get tagged in. How she'd always position her phone away from me when texting. How she'd get all dressed up, I'm talking full makeup, sexy outfit, the works, for study group. How she'd come home at 2 a.m. smelling like alcohol and cologne that wasn't mine. I started having these knots in my stomach every time she went out, that gut feeling something wasn't right, but I kept pushing it down, telling myself I was being paranoid. What pissed me off is that all of my friends saw it. My buddy Kyle pulled me aside at a barbecue and was like, dude, are you okay? Melissa seems not that into this. And I defended her. I actually got mad at him, told him he didn't understand our relationship. My sister straight up told me Melissa was using me as an ATM, and I didn't talk to her for 2 weeks after that. That's how deep in denial I was. I was paying this chick's entire life. Housing, food, bills, even her tuition payments, while she was treating me like an annoying roommate she occasionally had to be nice to. And I couldn't see it, or maybe I didn't want to see it because seeing it would mean admitting I'd been played. That the relationship I'd invested 2 years of my life in, thousands of dollars, and all of my emotional energy was a sham. That's a hard pill to swallow, but reality has a way of smacking you in the face eventually. My buddy once asked me if our relationship died suddenly or over time. Truth is, it was both, like a frog in slowly boiling water. I didn't realize I was being cooked alive until it was too late. Melissa had always been kind of selfish, but for a long time it didn't register because she'd still do the bare minimum relationship stuff. She still said I love you, and would occasionally do something nice for me if it didn't inconvenience her too much. She still acted like we were a team when other people were around, but behind closed doors, things kept getting worse. Then the plans we made started meaning nothing to her. We'd agree to watch a movie Friday night, and come Friday she'd suddenly have forgotten and made plans with her friends. When I'd remind her about our plans, she'd sigh dramatically like I was being such a burden. Can't we just do it tomorrow instead? She'd say, already dressed to go out. And when we were together, which was becoming rare, she'd act like being with me was some kind of chore she had to endure. She'd constantly check the time, be on her phone, or bring up how much fun she was missing elsewhere. And whenever I called her out on her attitude, she'd gaslight the hell out of me. You're too sensitive, or it's all in your head, or my personal favorite, You're being controlling. And the silent treatment? She was a master at that. If I did anything that annoyed her, didn't buy the exact brand of whatever she wanted, questioned her about coming home at 3 in the morning, asked her to maybe chip in for groceries occasionally, she'd go cold, wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't look at me, would act like I wasn't even in the room. It could last for days, and I'd end up apologizing just to make it stop, even when I had done nothing wrong. It was exhausting. My mental health was circling the drain. I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus at work, and was constantly on edge, wondering which version of her I'd be coming home to. Would she even be there? Would she talk to me, or would I get the cold shoulder over some invisible offense? I started getting these stress headaches that wouldn't quit, lost weight because my appetite was shot, and my work performance tanked. And that just piled more stress on me because I needed that job to keep the roof over her head and the car she drove in her name. Through all of it, she just kept taking. Never once asked if I was okay or noticed I was unraveling at the seams. As long as the bills were paid and she could do whatever the hell she wanted, I might as well have been a ghost. That's when the gears started turning in my head. The internal war kicked off. I started asking myself the hard questions. Was I really going to keep living like this, letting someone suck me dry emotionally, mentally, and financially? Was I being weak for staying or selfish for thinking about leaving? For a while, I fought it, told myself I'd be a jerk for walking out, that relationships take work, patience, sacrifice. But even the strongest man can only carry dead weight for so long before it drags him under, and I was done drowning. I was already checked out, so I started thinking about the exit plan. How do I leave without burning the whole place down? Do I start small, pull back bit by bit, or rip the Band-Aid off and walk? Would she even care, or would it just be my pride that hurt? I didn't want to be the guy who gave up, but I also wasn't going to be the idiot who stayed in a losing game. The truth? I was already halfway gone in my head, my body just hadn't caught up yet. And then came the night that pushed me the rest of the way. It wasn't some dramatic blow-up, no catching her in the act, no screaming match, no slamming doors. Though, if I had to bet, cheating was probably in the mix. But nah, the thing that opened my eyes was small, simple, but it hit harder than any slap to the face. It was the kind of moment that doesn't just sting, it leaves a mark. It was a Friday night. I'd been grinding all week, late nights at the office, closing out a massive project. Exhausted wasn't even the word. But I wasn't about to crash on the couch like some beaten-down dude. Nah, I had one last move to make. I wasn't looking for quality time. I was looking to flip the script, to let her know without saying it outright that I was already mentally out of this relationship. I walked into the house around 6, dropped my keys on the counter, and heard her music blasting from the bedroom. I already knew what that meant. She was getting ready to head out again. Another night with the girls, which, judging by the Instagram photos, also included some random dude's third weekend in a row. Third time I'd be left sitting alone in my own damn house like some afterthought. I knocked once and pushed open the bedroom door. She was there, standing in front of the mirror in nothing but her underwear, applying makeup like she was about to walk a damn runway. Normally, I would have taken a second to appreciate the view. Not tonight. Tonight, I wasn't here to admire anything. Hey, I said, my tone easy, casual, just another guy wanting to spend the night in, right? Was thinking we could stay in tonight, order some food, throw on a movie, just chill. Been a while since we had a night to ourselves. She didn't even glance at me, didn't pause, didn't flinch, just kept applying that mascara like I wasn't even standing there. Can't. Promised the girls I'd meet them at Ashley's. We're hitting that new club downtown after. The girls. Always the girls. Funny how the girls had more male friends in their Instagram photos than a damn frat house. I kept my voice calm, my stance easy, leaning against the doorframe like I had all the time in the world. Yeah, thought maybe you'd want to catch up. We've barely crossed paths all week. I come home, and you're either gone or heading out the door. She finally glanced at me in the mirror, an annoyed flicker in her eyes. It's not my fault you work so much. And there it was, that little jab. She knew why I was working so much, to keep this house, to pay her car, the bills she didn't even acknowledge. Everything she had was because I was busting my ass. But sure, let's throw that back in my face. I nodded slow, let the silence hang for a second, then I said, relationships take work too. Just thought maybe we should make time for that. That's when she turned, mascara wand in hand, like I was nothing but an inconvenience in her night. And then she dropped the line that sealed it, you're not my priority right now, okay? I have other things going on. The way she tossed those words at me, casual as if she was telling me we were out of milk, while applying mascara for probably some other dude to appreciate, chef's kiss of disrespect, absolute masterclass in how to nuke a relationship in 10 words or less. 2 years down to that one sentence, a whole relationship boiled down to me not even ranking on her list. I didn't move, didn't say a word for a moment, just stood there, letting it land, letting her hear how silent I could be when I was done caring. "What did you just say?" I asked, not because I didn't hear it, but because I wanted her to hear it again. I wanted her to really think about what she'd just thrown at me. She sighed, turning back to the mirror, her voice full of that same casual dismissal. "Don't be so dramatic. I already have plans. We can hang out tomorrow or whatever." And that was it. The moment. The final nail. After everything I'd done, after every time I put her first, I wasn't even an afterthought. I was a placeholder, an ATM with a heartbeat. I didn't yell, didn't argue. That would have given her too much credit. No, I just stood there, watching her reflection, wondering how I ever let it get this far, how I let her think she could walk all over me and I just keep taking it. But that was the last time she talked to me like I was nothing. "Fine," I said, voice steady, calm. "Go have fun." And I meant it. Go have fun, Melissa. Enjoy it while you can, because the man standing in front of you, he's already gone. "I will," she replied, not even picking up on my tone. She just kept applying her makeup, like we'd been discussing the weather, not the death of our relationship. She left about 20 minutes later. Didn't even say goodbye properly, just yelled later as the front door slammed. I stood in the kitchen, listening to her car pull out of the driveway, and felt this weird sense of calm wash over me, like something had finally clicked into place. I opened a soda and sat on the couch, just thinking, replaying the last few months in my head, all the times she'd blown me off, all the girls' nights that mysteriously included dudes I'd never met, all the times I'd felt like an afterthought in my own relationship. I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through our text history. It was eye-opening, pages and pages of me checking in, asking about her day, telling her I missed her, making plans. Her responses were always short, often hours later, frequently canceling or changing plans we'd made. I'd send paragraph-long messages when she was going through something, offering support and love. She'd send back a thanks or a thumbs-up emoji. It was all right there in black and white. The evidence of her not giving a damn had been in my pocket the whole time. Frustrated, I locked my phone and tossed it on the couch, but boredom pulled me back in. I opened Instagram, aimlessly flipping through stories, trying to numb the frustration that was burning under my skin. I saw one of Melissa's friends posting clips from their night out. Dim lights, loud music, people laughing, drinking, grinding on the dance floor. The whole vibe of the club screamed chaos. My thumb hovered for a second before I swiped up and sent a casual message. "Melissa having a good time?" I asked. No emotion, no edge, just a simple question. A few minutes later, the friend replied, "Yeah, she's great, totally vibing tonight, cool." I left it on read. Then the next story dropped, and there she was, Melissa, on the dance floor, grinding on some guy with his shirt half open, his abs on full display. She was laughing, arms draped around his neck, like she didn't have a boyfriend at home, like she didn't have someone paying her bills, covering her tuition and keeping a roof over her head. And just like that, the switch flipped. I locked my phone, tossed it on the coffee table and leaned back, letting it all sink in. I wasn't going to argue, wasn't going to blow up her phone or pull some dramatic confrontation. What would be the point? She'd already made her choice long before tonight. All that was left was for me to make mine. About an hour later, I heard the key in the door. She stumbled in, laughing at something on her phone, not a care in the world. She didn't even notice me sitting there in the light. "Have fun?" I asked, my voice calm, steady. She jumped, almost dropping her purse. "Jesus, you scared me," she giggled, but it was forced. She looked rough, makeup smudged, hair a mess. "Why are you sitting in the dark like some creep?" I shrugged. "Just thinking." She started walking towards the bedroom, already brushing me off like she always did, like I was some roommate she tolerated. "Thinking about what?" She tossed over her shoulder. I watched her, leaning back, arms stretched across the back of the couch, relaxed, cool. The kind of calm that comes when you've already decided you're done playing games. About how easy it is to lose respect for someone, I said, not bitter, just facts. She paused, glancing back. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't move, didn't blink. Nothing, just an observation. She sighed, the irritation rolling off her. "Can we not do this right now? I'm tired and drunk, and I just want to go to bed." "Yeah," I said, standing up, my voice calm but sharp. "Bet you are. All that hands-on cardio must be wearing you out." That made her freeze. She blinked, confusion flickering in her eyes. "What are you talking about?" I smiled. "You know what I'm talking about, Melissa." She opened her mouth, ready to lie. I saw it in her face, ready to tell me just fun, just friends. But I didn't give her the chance. I didn't need her excuses. I didn't need her fake tears or weak apologies. I was done playing that game. "I'm not in the mood for stories," I said flatly. "Go to bed." She hesitated. like she was waiting for me to start a fight, because she knew she was doing something wrong out there. But there wasn't going to be one. She didn't deserve that energy anymore. She wasn't worth it. After that night, I didn't just stop caring, I cut the cord hard. I went full ghost mode in my own house. I wasn't about to waste energy on someone who had already shown me where I ranked in her life. Texts during the day, dead. Asking about her classes, done. Picking up her favorite snacks, making dinner, folding her laundry, asking where she was headed or when she'd be back. Over. Why bother? If I wasn't her priority, she sure as hell wasn't going to be mine. She didn't deserve that version of me anymore. But I didn't stop there. I started cutting the strings that tied her to the life I was paying for. I logged into every account, car insurance, phone bill, her streaming services, gone. I cut her off clean, no more free ride on my dime. I wasn't going to fund her nights out, her drunk Ubers, or her endless shopping sprees while she was acting single in public and treating me like an afterthought in private. Her tuition payments? Canceled. She wanted independence? She was about to get it. At first, she didn't even clock it. Too wrapped up in her own world to notice that her personal butler and private banker had gone off duty. But after a week, she started noticing the shift. Noticed that the man who once made her the center of his world had stopped orbiting around her. The looks she gave me were subtle at first, confused, testing, like she was trying to figure out what was off, but couldn't quite put her finger on it. "You've been quiet lately," she said one night, sitting at the far end of the couch, her eyes flicking between me and her phone. I shrugged, not even looking up. "Have I?" "Yeah." "Is something wrong?" I let the silence hang, then finally looked up at her, calm, unbothered. "Nothing that matters to you." Her brows pulled together. "What's that supposed to mean?" I tilted my head, smirking slightly. "It means exactly what it sounds like. If it's not your priority, why would you care?" Her eyes widened as the realization hit her. I was throwing her own words back in her face, and it landed harder than she expected. "Are you seriously still upset about that?" "It was just a comment. I didn't mean it." "Sure," I said, standing up. "Whatever you say." And just like that, I walked out of the room, completely unbothered, leaving her sitting there, confused and uncomfortable in the silence. The next few days I kept the pressure on, or more like I kept the pressure off. I was just absent, physically there but mentally checked out. She'd try to start conversations, and I'd give her cold, one-word replies. She'd suggest we go out, and I'd shrug, "Nah, busy." She'd ask if I was mad, and I'd just say, "Nope, just respecting your priorities." And when she finally noticed her phone bill didn't go through, when her car insurance company called her instead of me, when she tried logging into Netflix and realized it wasn't her account anymore, she didn't say anything at first, just got quiet, confused, the kind of confusion that creeps in when someone realizes the safety net they took for granted is gone. Watching her squirm was almost entertaining. Confusion turned into frustration. Frustration turned into desperation. She wasn't used to being ignored, wasn't used to not being the center of my universe. The more I pulled away, the harder she reached. Meanwhile, I focused on me. I hit the gym every day after work, not because I wanted to look good for her, but because I was done looking like I gave a damn. Started hanging with my boys again, the ones she called boring because they didn't fit into her little social game. Got back into my hobbies, spent my evenings doing whatever the hell I wanted for once. I wasn't living for her anymore. I was living for me, and damn, it felt good. Then, like clockwork, she started trying. Coming home earlier, suddenly bringing back my favorite takeout, asking about my day and actually waiting for an answer, dropping little compliments, trying to cozy up to me on the couch. But it was too late. I'd seen enough, heard enough. She was just playing catch-up, and I wasn't on that field anymore. But I let her keep trying, let her sweat, let her feel what it was like to reach for someone who wasn't reaching back. One night, she cracked, came at me with tears in her eyes, voice shaking like she was the victim. "I don't understand what's happening," she said. "Why are you being like this?" I kept my expression flat, cold. "You made it clear, Melissa. I'm not your priority. You've got other things going on. So now I'm focusing on my priorities, and honestly, you're not one of them." Her face crumbled. "That's not fair. I said one thing, one time, and now you're punishing me for it?" I laughed, hard, not because it was funny, but because it was pathetic. "One thing, Melissa, you've been showing me I wasn't a priority for months. Every time you blew me off, every time you took advantage of me, every time you looked at me like I was just there, like I didn't matter." I stepped closer, my voice low and final. "I paid for this house, paid your car insurance, paid for the food you eat, the bills that keep the lights on, your damn tuition, and all I got in return? You're not my priority." Well, message received loud and clear. She broke. The tears came fast, messy, like they always did when she realized control was slipping through her fingers. I didn't mean it like that, she cried, her voice trembling. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking. I love you. But I wasn't buying it. I stood there watching her fall apart and felt nothing, just cold clarity. She could cry rivers, but I wasn't about to drown in them again. In that moment, the plan clicked into place. I wasn't going to fight. I'd let her cry, let her think she still had time to fix it, and then I'd disappear, quiet, clean. She wasn't worth the drama. She wanted me to be an option. I'd show her how it feels when that option just vanishes. The very next day, I got up at 5 in the morning, packed my essentials, and bounced while she was still snoring. By sunrise, I was gone. No note, no explanation, just a text. You don't have to worry about me being your priority anymore. I'm gone. And I just disappeared. She blew up my phone, calls, texts, didn't pick up, didn't reply. Silence is golden, and it was time she learned that. First, she hit me with the classics. Are you serious? You're being so dramatic. This is childish. What's childish is thinking I'd stick around after being treated like a side quest in her life. Then came the desperation. Let's talk. Please don't do this. I didn't mean it. Yeah, you did, and now I'm done. I crashed at my buddy Kyle's for a bit, locked down a new apartment, and went full ghost mode. Changed passwords, cut her off my credit card, and gave her parents the heads up that tuition's now their problem. Felt like deleting old files off a hard drive. Clean, necessary, satisfying. Freedom hit different. No more draining energy on a one-sided relationship. A month later, mutual friends told me she was spiraling, struggling with car payments, dropping classes, couch surfing. Her parents told her to grow up before moving back home. I felt nothing, but 4 months in she showed up at my new spot. No idea how she found the address. She looked wrecked, skinny, tired, all that confidence she used to flex, gone. Please, she said, I've changed, I miss you. I messed up. I just stared. Yeah, you did. Can we try again? I'll prove it to you. You're my priority now. Priority, I said, tilting my head like I was genuinely confused. What are you talking about, Melissa? You stopped being on my radar a long time ago. I don't even remember what it felt like to care. She broke down, crying, begging, throwing out empty promises that she'd be different, that she'd change. But me? I felt like the weight had already been lifted, and she was the only one still holding on. You should go, I said, my voice calm, almost bored. There's nothing for you here, not anymore. I closed the door, her sobbing on the other side, not my problem anymore. And damn, it felt good, freeing, like dropping a weight I didn't know I was carrying. A few weeks later, I met this badass chick, a real one, genuine, thoughtful, actually knows how to be a partner. She says I'm a priority, and she means it, shows it every day. Game changer. Word got out. Melissa heard, went nuts, started showing up at places I might be, texting me from random numbers after I blocked her old one. Desperation looks bad on anyone. I ignored it. I was done with her games. Last I heard, she dropped out of school and moved back home, her life a mess, mine better than ever. Funny how it works. She thought I was replaceable. Turns out she was. People ask if I regret it, if I'm ever tempted to reach out. Nah, leaving was the best decision I ever made. Because when someone shows you they don't care, believe them, and then make damn sure they're not your problem anymore.